This is a true life story, and it all began on Friday, the 25th of November, 2022, when a lotto operator, Isao Oluwatobiloba, could not find the money he kept in his room. He accused Idohu Talabi, his next-door neighbor, who was a herbalist, of breaking into his room and stealing the money. Isao and Talabi both lived in the same building, but in different apartments. When the quarrel between the duo was degenerating into a physical fight, the neighbors intervened and the quarrel was settled. That same day, in the evening, Isao's wife, Esther, told her husband that she was going to a night vigil and asked him to go with her, but he declined. He told her that he didn't want to leave his grandma alone at home, who lived with them in the same building. So Esther left for the vigil alone. When she returned home the next morning, there was no light in the room. Everywhere was dark. She became scared and called for her husband, Isao, but he didn't answer her. So she took a torchlight and switched it on. And what she saw next completely transfixed her. She saw her husband, Isao's body, completely covered in and his head irritated. She began to scream and call for help. The neighbors heard her voice and they all rushed out. Everyone was shocked at the sight of Isao's lifeless body. But somehow, the neighbors knew who had done it, because just the day before, Isao and Talabi had had a heated quarrel that had almost degenerated into a physical fight, if not for the intervention of the neighbors. And Talabi really never liked Isao. With this, Isao's wife, Esther, in the presence of onlookers, immediately held Talabi and accused him of her husband. The police were then called. When investigators got to the scene, they determined that the deceased had been killed with a machete while sleeping on his bed. They also determined that nothing had been taken away from the room, ruling out any potential burglary. After hearing about the quarrel between Talabi and the deceased, the police invited Talabi for questioning. It was during interrogation that Talabi confessed to have committed the crime. The day when Isao and Talabi had quarreled, Talabi had allegedly told Isao's grandma and his wife, before she left for vigil, not to lock the doors to the rooms because he wanted to perform spiritual cleansing on the whole house. What I should add is that Talabi was the grandson to the landlord of the building, so when he allegedly told them that they should leave their doors open so he could perform spiritual cleansing on the whole house, it wasn't too strange a request. During investigation, one of the neighbors living upstairs said they saw Talabi in the middle of the night burning clothes that looked like they were soaked in blood. During Talabi's confession, he told investigators that since the door to the main entrance was unlocked, he used fire to melt the net in the window before using scissors to open the lock, which allowed him to gain entrance into the room. After his confession, Talabi was arrested by the police and would be charged with the murder of Isao.